everybody. Very excited that I got to be here. Thank you so much. Um, Super excited. Yeah, as Janet said, my name is Joe Ennis. I am here to talk about the power of video content. So in this short presentation, just going to talk to you about why, and you'll see actually on this next page, I'm just going to jump right into it, why I believe it's not just enough to have a podcast anymore. And I'm actually going to change that a bit. Why it's not just enough to have video, a video sorry. Why it's not just enough to have a podcast anymore, but it needs to stand out. And one of the ways that we found that is through video. And now I'm not just talking about video podcasts. That's something we're talking about today, but we're going to be talking about why companies should start thinking about jumping into video if they're not already. Little bit more about me. I've been working as a video and podcast producer for the last 7 years. I've worked with people such as Damon John from Shark Tank, as well as Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, Bob Proctor, a lot of other names. Ty Lopez, that guy you might have seen his one of his famous ads where he's like, here in my garage, and he's standing in front of a Lamborghini with a bunch of bookshelves behind him. I've worked with a lot of those people to help create video for them, and it's been a big passion of mine. I really love bringing people's ideas to life, and I think that's one of the fun things about video is you can, while a lot of it is, most of it is for a goal, a lot of it is for a business goal. You can still have fun with it in a lot of ways, and you can get creative with it. And I think that's what's one of the things that really drives me to continue to do it is just helping people bring their ideas to life, whether it's through a podcast or some sort of video series on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. I've just really enjoyed, helping people bring those ideas to life and figure out the best way to do them in a way that's effective for the goals that they've set, as well as, in a way that they get to have fun and kind of create something that they're passionate about and something that they care about. So why video? Well, Demand Gen report actually reports that 91% of consumers prefer video. And I actually want to ask, show of hands, who here has watched a video this week, if not even already this morning? Probably most of you. Yeah, a lot of you. Second question, and this one you don't have to say out loud. However you want to, feel free. How many videos do you think you've already watched in total this month? Chris, I'm looking at you. I know you, Chris. How many videos do you think, if you were gonna guess, you've watched already this month?
At least 30.
At least 30.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, videos are everywhere. It's by far the most powerful way to create content, to put content out there and to, capture attention. And then the last question that I have is, how many videos have you all created in the last month? And you don't have to say anything out loud. I'm not asking for an answer, but just something to think about. I think a lot of people find that it's not as many as they'd hope. Quick aside, I know, people like Gary Vaynerchuk. If you've heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, his goal every day is to create 100 unique pieces of content. And most of those are video. And obviously no one's doing that much. I don't think. If you are in this call, congratulations. That's amazing. But there's a reason that people like him are so avid about this. And it's because it's what grabs people's attention nowadays. People, there was a study as of 2017, I believe. It's a little bit of an older study, so honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if it has changed at this point. But there was a study in 2017 that said that human beings have the attention span of 8 seconds, which is 1 second less than a goldfish. And so when you're trying to catch people's attention on social media, if it's not going to grab you in the first, 8 seconds. Really, it's become more like 2 or 3 seconds with a lot of like YouTube shorts and things, and that infinite scroll. You're probably going to fall behind, and so that's why video is so important. And so today we're going to talk about a couple different things, but a little bit more about video. Some of the reasons that you should have video. Number one, the emotional impact. Video can speak to people in a way that, photos or text can't necessarily. Now, there is ways that both of those things play a part, and those other mediums can be very effective in their own right. I mean, there are extremely emotional books that people would say are better than the movies. But in terms of what we're trying to do, and capturing people's attention, the emotional impact that we can make with short term or long form video is extremely important, especially when it comes to recruitment. Trying to bring people into your team and understand your mission, as well as, trying to talk to clients and tell them why they should work with you. Um, it's there's an emotional impact that video brings across, that other mediums can't. We've also known. I think most of the people here can probably guess or know themselves, but we've found at Artform that it's just higher engagement rates across the board when it comes to video, compared to text or static images. You're just going to get higher engagement rate, and that goes back to that attention span. Um, People grab on to things that catch their attention quickly, and there's a lot of ways that video plays a much bigger part in that than images or text. Video can grab your attention a lot easier. And then even finally, the versatility. Whether it's showing somebody a demo, which we've done a lot of, just a product demo, or if it's getting customer testimonials, again, that kind of rolls back into that emotional impact. There's a lot of different things that you can do with video on a lot of different platforms today. And so these are some of the reasons that we would recommend video and why it's so important. But there's so many others that we could get into as well. But one of the other ones that I'll an honorable mention is it just builds trust. I think with especially long form video, but short form as well, really being able to speak to whether it's people you're looking to recruit, or clients or potential clients, or just your general audience, giving them video of whether you're teaching them something or a testimonial or talking about a new service or product you learned. um Being able to build, or being able for them to hear your voice and hear you explain exactly your knowledge and the way that you're thinking about things, it builds trust with people. And so that's just another honorable one that I'd throw out there as well. um Another big part is, in all of this, it wouldn't be an art form presentation without talking about AI. And AI is just on the rise across the board, and that um, is including video. 1/3 of GovCon firms this year plan to use AI to enhance their video marketing strategies, and 50% plan to use them in the future. This is all reported by SEMrush, as well as a lot of GovCon companies are leveraging AI in video marketing, with increased efficiency of up to 30%, they're reporting. And so video and AI are something that work very in tandem. There's a lot of new products coming out about or with video and AI that are not necessarily released yet. There's a lot that are, but we're seeing, even day after day, a growth in how video and AI are working together. And some of those ways that you'll see just through different softwares is, first, the personalization of AI. AI is now able to make personalized video ads. They know, a lot of these algorithms like YouTube know who their audience is, and they're able to make ads that are very specific towards that. I mean, we have worked with a lot of different tools where there are softwares where you can tell it, hey, this is my audience and I need a video this long, and this is this is the goal of the video. And they'll make them. Sometimes they'll need a couple tweaks. Like I said, it's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. But the personalization that AI is able to do makes things a lot more streamlined. And then video editing is probably the biggest one that people have questions about, especially to me, questions about in general, is like, hey, how do I edit this video as fast as possible? Can AI do it? And the answer to a lot of it is yes. It's not always perfect. There's always kind of a human element that adds to the videos. But video editing and AI are getting really good, really fast. The other thing is data analytics. AI is just constantly able to show us more and more analytics, more and more information about, what is happening with your videos, how your videos are performing, who saw your videos. And then finally, content discovery. Platforms like YouTube and LinkedIn are using AI to constantly make sure that the right videos are in front of you. The videos that speak to you, the videos that are important for you to see, the videos you have questions about. AI is constantly used for that as well. Um, a little bit about video and marketing. So we're going to talk about a couple different types of video in this presentation. We're going to talk about short form video content, video podcasting, and paid ads. There are a lot of other types of video. There's live streaming. There's even things like webinars, like we're doing now. There's a lot of different, versions of video. But the three that we're going to focus on today that I think are the most important are short form video content, video podcasting, and video advertising. 79% of consumers prefer to watch video than learn about a product or service, or sorry, prefer to watch a video to learn about a product or service than to read about it or to be even taught about it. And that's from Personal. They're reporting that. But let's jump into short form video and social media. So short form video is probably the biggest boom of really starting in 2020, but it's continued to grow and grow and grow. Platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram have taken full advantage of the short form video content, whether it's things like YouTube Shorts or smaller pieces of content, like what you see on the screen here on LinkedIn, on CISA's LinkedIn. Short form video is amazing, especially for awareness. So, short form video is quick, easy, to the point, punchy, and it really gets you in front of people. And that's one of the main goals usually with short form video is we are creating these videos to get in front of people, to stay on the top of their feed. I mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk earlier, and one of the reasons he's making 100 pieces of content a day is because he wants to stay on top of people's feeds. He wants to stay on top of their mind, be the first thing they see every time they open social media. And that's what the short form videos serve the best purpose of. Quick awareness of, hey, this is who we are. We're in front of you again. And here's a small little, tip or trick that we can teach you. You also see things like product tutorials. People will be like, there's a lady who her entire business her name is Miss Excel. And all she does is she makes short form content saying, here's an Excel shortcut of, how to make an entire spreadsheet bolded or whatever it is. And she makes tons of money just putting out short form content about just how to use Excel. People do it all the time for things like, different products, services. We've done it before for clients of like, hey, here's how to use this tool, or here's this AI tool we found. And so that's really the punchiest way to use it. And then finally, there's user created or user generated content. So one thing that we've seen is contractors kind of expanding their reach by having the employees kind of do like a behind the scenes video of like, hey, here's here's what we work on, or here is a day, like one popular one is like a day in the life at said company, to kind of, especially for like recruitment purposes, um, teaching people what they'd be getting into when working with you, what kind of work they'd be working on, what the culture is like, things like that. Short form content is the best for this. This is the purpose that short form content serves. The next thing we're talking about is video in podcasting. Podcasting is a massive area now. It's extremely saturated. Um, However, video podcasting is now the area where you can really stand out. 33% of listeners prefer video podcasts over just audio, and that's growing 40% year over year. And that's according to Spotify, who, if you know anything about Spotify, is entirely audio until, excuse me, until a couple years ago when they bought the Joe Rogan experience, the Joe Rogan show, which is now exclusively on Spotify. They upload Joe Rogan's entire videos to Spotify, and now they're allowing everybody to do that with their video content, because they're just seeing such an increase in viewership. So video is a huge part of just keeping people's attention. There's something about having a visual component to a podcast, even just listening to two people talk, um, that people cling on to. The other big thing with with video and podcasting is YouTube has also been aware of this and is now optimizing all of their platform for podcasts. So YouTube now has a dedicated tab under every channel for podcasts, where your podcast can live. It can actually link to RSS feeds, which, if you know anything about podcasts, that's a big part of them. It has always excuse me. It has also changed a lot of its features surrounding search for podcasts. You've probably noticed chapters are a big thing on YouTube now. So on the timeline at the bottom, the bar, you can actually jump to specific points and it'll tell you like the subject that's being talked about. That was designed because of podcasts, because of this long form content. They're just learning that, adding things like chapters, those help not only for, viewers or listeners that might not have time to listen to a 30-minute podcast, but also just for SEO purposes, for discoverability, getting your discoverability up through chapters, through tagging. There's a lot of options that YouTube has added specifically for podcasts because of the boom of both podcasts and video kind of connecting. And then the last reason that we think that you should really care about video and podcasting, and this is more of just a personal thing, but I know a lot of people who agree with me, is that the micro content or the short form content that we were just talking about, the micro content that you can get from something like a video podcast is just easier. It's more efficient. It's usually better. I don't know if anybody here has ever tried to sit down and record a 5-minute video for LinkedIn, or for YouTube, or Facebook. Um, but usually it can be kind of difficult. Not because the content's difficult. You might understand the content front and back. But it can be a little bit more pressure of like, okay, I got to get this right. And you'll record and you might say something wrong. And you got to start over and you got to record again. Podcasts are supposed to be genuine, more raw, laid back, just conversational. And so when things like I got to make a video for my LinkedIn aren't on the top of your mind, you're going to actually be a much more natural in front of a camera and behind a microphone, and you're going to get a lot more usable, valuable clips for social media. I mean, theoretically, you do a 30-minute podcast, you could get, let's say, 15 minutes of that are you talking about very important points. We're taking out the host talking, we're taking out the intro and the outro. That's more just informational, about the podcast. Let's say you get 15 minutes of you talking. Theoretically, you could get 15 1-minute videos out of that for your, LinkedIn or for your YouTube channel. And that's really good. I mean, 15 videos a month is great for a lot of companies. And then, if you think about doing a podcast, let's say bi-monthly, you're doing two a month, theoretically that's a video every other day or every day on your social media for an entire month. Um, Not even mentioning that some of that information may be able to be rolled into months in the future, to kind of snowball a lot of content. But my recommendation is podcasts are the greatest way to record video, because of the format, because of how natural it is, and because of how efficient you can be with it. You can get so much from a video podcast. You can get micro content clips, as we were just talking about. You can get a newsletter, transcript. You can get a lot of things, a blog post. You can cut the podcast into multiple, longer videos, 10-minute-ish videos on a specific topic you talked about. But video specifically is a big part of that. The visual component to that is what's going to grab people's attention on LinkedIn, going to grab people's attention on YouTube. Sure, you can record a podcast and, add your cover art or whatnot, but that's not going to grab people's attention like video is. And so that's what I want to emphasize is video in podcasting is a big piece to all of this. And then video in recruiting. I know that's a big area. And there's a lot of reasons that video helps with recruiting. One of those being kind of more of a personalized outreach. Video helps, again, I spoke on this a little earlier, but it kind of helps humanize both the company as well as, maybe the project. It can add some emotional weight, which can hopefully, entice people to make that next step to apply or to reach out, or to even in some cases for, employees that are already there to stay. And the personalized outreach or the personalized aspect of video plays a big part in that. The other piece is just a wider reach. Places like LinkedIn and YouTube, we've hit on it a couple times. They're rewarding short form content. They're rewarding people that are posting multiple times a month, because people come back to it, and that's keeping people on their site. And so they're gonna extend your reach. If you're posting video content more, they're going to realize people are watching it. They're going to realize that you're helping people stay on the platform. And so they're going to send you to more people. And so with a wider reach comes, hopefully more talent, hopefully more, qualified leads. And so that's another big piece is you'll just get a wider reach if you start posting video. You'll see that you get more responses. And then finally, we've hit on this again earlier, but you're able to demonstrate your expertise through video, in a way that's quicker and holds people's attention, more than, maybe a blog post, or a white paper. Those, again, serve their own purpose, but video is a great way to demonstrate expertise. 2-minute video of, hey, this is a software that I learned or a software that we use here. This is a quick editing tip for, your video editors. This is something that we are working on in, the government space, that, we think more people should, consider. There's other things, as well, and I didn't even mention this photo here that says "We Are." This is actually a still from a sizzle reel that we created for a client, where the entire video is kind of getting back to that personalized outreach aspect. But you could almost make this a third point in and of itself. It's just kind of adding, some emphasis to who you are as a company. And so the entire video was kind of just like almost like we call it a sizzle reel, but like a pump up, like this is who we are, this is our mission, this is who we're serving, and this is why we do what we do. And so, we found that those types of videos, specifically like this one for this client, are super powerful, in recruiting, bringing people in, understanding the mission, understanding why they're working, for you over the other guy. And so we found that video is very
I
powerful.
hate to interrupt you, but I just want to give you a time check here.
Sure.
And I want to make sure people had time for questions, and we're almost at
Yep.
9:30. So
No worries. Let
time check.
me speed through this last bit here. So we've also, you see a lot of video and advertising and paid ads. Video ads outperform static ads by 2 to 3%, 2 to 3 times we find. Um, that's reported by Sidekick Studios. You also see a lot of other ads like video retargeting. I've worked, with people who will literally do ads talking to the listener of like, hey, we saw that you clicked off this website. What gives? And we've seen that work very well as on top of that, there's interactive ads. You can have an ad that's like, hey, click here, make sure you check the description, things like that. So video is extremely strong for advertising as well. Few other additional ways that you can use video, training government clients, training um, customers, training internal employees is a big one, as well as we hit on a little earlier. Video testimonials and case studies are a big one, as well, that you can dive into. And with that, we have a case study ourselves. This is a video podcast that we've been doing since the beginning of the year. The first episode was launched in March, which you can see here. And this is the difference between having video for this client and having no video has been a massive difference for them, just in engagement and in listens. You can see on the side here. So, it works. We know it works. And yeah, that's that.